Hi everyone, I'm Shirley. I'm going to present Phish in sheep's clothing, exploring the authentication pitfalls of browser fingerprinting. This is a joint work with panels Ilia, Saumya, Solanki, and my advisor Jason Polakis. Two-factor authentication is an effective way to protect user accounts. However, it creates friction for users. Certain websites only trigger 2FA for suspicious login attempts. These websites remember the device if a user logs in, and if the next login is from the same device, 2FA is skipped. If not, it's considered as a suspicious login attempt, and 2FA is triggered. Websites may use cookies or IP address to remember the device. Currently, browser fingerprints are widely used for web tracking, and they can be easily collected by any website without user interaction. For this reason, some advanced risk-based authentication systems use browser fingerprinting to remember the device. In this system, user visits the login page, and the website sends a fingerprinting script to collect the user's fingerprints. If this fingerprint is different from the previous login, it triggers 2FA. If two fingerprints are matched, 2FA is skipped, and user directly logs into the account. However, this system is vulnerable to our attack. In our threat model, we assume that the attacker is able to trick the user into visiting a malicious website and entering their credentials. Here is an overview of our attack workflow. There are 3 phases, and we developed 2 extensions to perform this attack. Next, I will introduce each phase and our extensions. In the first phase, attacker will use the fingerprint extractor extension. When the website collects the browser fingerprints, the extension automatically replicates the fingerprinting process of the target website. It generates the fingerprinting code for this target website. In the next phase, attacker has the fingerprinting code for target websites that collected from the previous phase. They can use it to build a phishing website. And this phishing website can have multiple target websites fingerprinting code, which means when a user visits this phishing website, the pages collect all the fingerprints of this user's device for all these target websites. Now the attacker have the attacker's credentials and now the attacker has the user's credentials and the user's fingerprints. So in the last phase, attacker is ready to perform the attack on the target website. Attacker first enables the fingerprint spoofer extension. When the website tries to collect the attacker's fingerprints, the extension replaces the attacker's fingerprints with the user's fingerprints, and it tricks the website into thinking that this login is from the legitimate user. The attacker successfully bypasses 2FA and logs into the user account. Here I will introduce the extensions. How fingerprint extractor extension works. This extension is used in the first phase and is used to replicate the fingerprinting code of a target website. It first ingests the code to the target website's document. It hooks the fingerprinting properties and methods. The code runs at document start, and it logs the property accesses with their arguments. It makes sure that even for dynamic fingerprinting attributes, such as WebGL, the generative fingerprinting code will render the exactly same image as the target website does. The extension then generates and exports the JavaScript code based on the fingerprinting process. The code can be used to build a phishing website to collect users' fingerprints. How FP-Spoofer extension works. This extension is used to deceive the website into thinking that the login is from a legitimate user. So the extension first takes the victim's fingerprints as input. It hooks the fingerprinting APIs. When these APIs are accessed, the extension manipulates the return values of these APIs to match the victim's values. For advanced fingerprinting, there is no need to manipulate the intermediate values. The extension only spoofs the final values. For example, the canvas fingerprinting, the extension doesn't intercept the rendering of the canvas image. It only spoofs the to-data URL, which is the last step of the canvas fingerprinting. And similarly for form fingerprinting, the extension only manipulates the offset width and offset height. Here is a demo shows the fingerprint spoofing on my unique website. The left is the victim's device, and the right is the attacker's device. And these devices are so different, we can see there are many fingerprinting attributes that have different values. So once we enable the fingerprint spoofer extension on the attacker's device, this extension spoofs all these fingerprinting values, and it makes the attacker's device look exactly the same as the victim's device. Next, we want to know how feasible of our attack in real-world cases. We crawl Alexa top 20,000 websites and log fingerprinting APIs. We found that top websites use more advanced fingerprinting techniques on login pages than home pages. We then manually look into 300 popular websites that support 2FA and use fingerprint on their login pages. We found that 14 of them use fingerprints to remember users' devices. This is more prevalent among high-value financial services. And as 2FA become more prevalent, we expect that risk-based authentication that use fingerprint will be more common. Next, we tested our attack on these 14 websites using our personal accounts. We have two devices. The first device is used to log in these target websites as a regular user. And the second device is a different device that never visited these websites before. So we want to see if we can use the second device to log in these target websites without triggering 2FA. As a result, we completely bypass 2FA in 9 websites. Some websites use basic fingerprinting, and some websites use a combination of basic and advanced fingerprinting. And our attack successfully spoofed all these fingerprints. The only reason that the attack is prevented is the IP restriction. And even in this case, we can still bypass some of them by modifying the headers. Next, we want to see if phishing websites are collecting browser fingerprints too. We have 3 phishing website datasets. The first 2 datasets, we have the source code, so we will build the websites on our local server. And the third dataset is more recent, so we directly visit the actual website. We then use visible VA to log the JavaScript execution. Here are the results. We found that the majority of phishing websites that are running JavaScript are also collecting browser fingerprints. And this number is increasing over time. We then look at the phishing websites that target the vulnerable websites we identify. We found that the number of phishing websites that target band A collect all necessary fingerprints to bypass 2FA is increasing, which means more and more websites that try to steal the user credentials on bank A are capable to bypass these bank's 2FA. Here are the numbers of phishing websites that target 2 different banks. Bank B is now vulnerable because of the IP restriction, and we can see there is a big drop in the Bank B's number, and Bank A is vulnerable, and the number of phishing websites that target Bank A is steadily increasing. In summary, we developed a fully automated system for replicating target websites' fingerprinting process and replaying users' stolen fingerprints. We presented an empirical analysis of the use of browser fingerprinting for augmenting web authentication in the wild. We demonstrated attacks that completely bypass 2FA in high-value services, and we're presenting a large-scale study on the use of browser fingerprinting techniques by phishing websites. We disclose our findings to affected vendors. Thank you for listening, and I'm open to questions.